topic. Well, first of all, thank you everybody and welcome back to She Would Know. So today's topic we're going to be talking about child support. Is it a punishment or is it assistance? And we might ruffle a few feathers today. Some people might get a little upset. But it's all love because that's what we're here to do. We're here to shed light on all different aspects because you may not be all the way right in your situation, right? So it just is what it is. So my guest for today, she's gonna introduce herself, and then we're gonna get right into it.
I'm Sherry. I have a 2-year-old daughter, and so today I'm going to be talking about my situation with her father. Um, what else do you want me to say about myself?
Okay. All right.
Uh,
So you and Dad, are you together?
no,
How long have
we're
you
not.
guys
How long have we what?
been apart?
Oh, for a little less than 2 years. We broke up
So
in
you
like 2016, summer
so you guys
2016.
broke up pretty much like right after the baby was born, a couple months.
Yeah, she
Okay.
was about 9 months when that happened.
Okay. And you received child support from Dad.
Yeah, I started receiving child support maybe a year after that period. Yeah.
Okay. Now, were you guys still messing with each other in the midst of like in the beginning of the breakup? Was y'all still messing with each other, or was it just like I'm done, we ain't doing this, and I'm good?
Yeah, after the situation, like I broke things off, we were living together. I kicked him out the house basically, and I wanted to make him know like I was serious about because we had a real off and on relationship, real roller coaster like, and so I was like, I'm gonna stick to my convictions, and I'm not gonna do this back and forth messing around with him because we always did that. So we never operated in a gray area and went back and forth with each other after, you know, I kicked them out.
Okay, because I think that's important. Like I think a lot of times when it comes to child support, we won't deal with the father, or we'll break up. Like we'll break up as a couple, but then we still dipping and
Right.
dabbling, and emotions get involved, and things get confusing. So
Exactly.
okay,
Yeah,
so you
and
guys completely
operated
weren't dealing with
very,
each other.
very before.
So now tell us about the child
What happened?
support situation.
So, I wasn't going to put him on child support. He has an older child who's about 10 years older than our daughter. And he's on child support for her as well. And you know how men are, they hate child support. Like, child support is the worst thing to him. He will always say, like, if you ever get pregnant, this is terrible. If you ever get pregnant, we're getting married because I'm not paying child support. And that's from like, well, I'm never marrying you because that's pretty terrible. Like, you know what I'm saying? But um, I wasn't gonna put him as long, and I told him as long as you do your part and you help me out consistently like you've been doing when we were together, like I won't have a reason to. But he was bitter Betty after the breakup, and he stopped helping. He stopped like coming around. He stopped helping me pay for daycare, helping me pay for diapers and everything. So I would literally have to beg him for like $40 just for a box of diapers to pay for half a daycare for a weekend. So I got tired of doing that. And I told him, like, I literally gave him a warning. I said, look, I'm struggling right now. I'm tired of having to beg you. You're not helping me out. I'm getting just ignored, like left on red and everything. Asking about our daughter. And so I was like, I'm going to have to put you on child support. Again, ignored. So I did it and I filed. And I don't know if he got notified some way that I had filed, but shortly after, maybe a week after, he said, did you file for child support? He asked me, call me, and I said, yeah, I did. I told you I was going to. I still haven't received any money from you. And he hung up and he said, all right, cool. Hung up. And then maybe a few days later, 3, 4 days later, like a sheriff knocked on my door and served me with papers and said that he had put himself or filed to put himself on child support, filed for visitation and for joint custody for our daughter. And um, that process went a little bit faster than just going through, I guess, the state. At the time I was living in Maryland, so the state of Maryland child
Okay.
support. And we had to go through like mediation for co-parenting, like court-ordered mediation. We had to
Oh,
go
wow.
to like a co-parenting conference and seminar that we had to pay for. Like it was crazy, a lot of stuff. We both had to lawyer up. He had a lawyer first. I got a notification from his lawyer, and then I was like, all right, I guess I need a lawyer now too, because he's being real serious right now.
Now you playing
And
with the
so
big guns, right?
yeah, exactly. I was like, I didn't expect him to do all of this, and so yeah, I had to get lawyered up after that, and then it was a long process. We started that in July 2016, and then in December 2016, we just came to an agreement between us for visitation, custody, and for a child support amount. Our lawyers wrote up the papers, we signed it, and then filed it with the court ourselves. And so with child support, he pays me directly every month instead of it having to come out through his income. But within our child support agreement, it says that if he's 5 days late or more, then I have within my right to get a withholding order from the state. And, you know, from that point, then it'll come out of his wages.
Okay, so it seems like you guys started off rocky, but you took the mature approach at the end of it. You know what I'm saying? Like you guys were able to co-parent, you guys were able to do what needed to be done in the best interest of the baby. So,
It got real expensive with the lawyers because it was such a long process, like
uh-huh.
months and months of going back and forth to court. And we were like, all right, we're going broke. Like, let's just talk. Because that whole time in between, we didn't speak
Okay.
without arguing. So we were like, let's just talk. Let's figure this out because I don't want to go back to court anymore. This shit is fucking expensive. Like, let's figure it out.
Okay. So I want to touch on at least two things that you said. So you did say that you gave him hints and warnings, which I feel like as
Right.
women, that's what we do. Like for the most part, 90% of us ain't just gonna throw you on child support out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? It's some type of frustration that comes with it. It's some type of I tried to speak to you on a mature level. It didn't work. This is my last result. My end result is
Right.
taking you for child support. So
Right.
I do love that because like I said, there are a lot of us who you give the warning, like, listen, I need help. You know what I'm saying? This is not easy. And what I do love is it wasn't a one-time thing with you. It wasn't like, all right, he didn't help me pay for this one thing, so now I'm taking you for child support. It was more like, nah, I didn't ask you for a few things. You know what I'm saying? And then you're not answering my text message. Like the communication level is just off. So
Right.
I definitely love that. I don't, in my opinion, I don't feel like it's a form of punishment, but for him, you know, it's just more of like, God need assistance. This is our child. Now,
Right.
how does he feel? How does he feel? Because you said that he turned around and put himself on it, and then you all just came to an agreement. So how does he feel? What is your relationship now like?
Um, it's very our relationship. I would say is transactional. Like you
Hmm.
do for me, I do for you. You know what I mean? Like I'm nice to him so that he can follow my lead. You know what I'm saying? Like
Okay.
I'm very cordial with him, but I want the same respect in return. And we weren't getting to that place at first. So I was always nice to him regardless of how rude he was. He was always like snappy and just say ignorant comments. But I was always nice because I'm like, I'm gonna lead by example because hopefully he gets tired of this after a while. You know what I'm saying? And he won't have a reason for me to be like, well, I don't like your attitude, and this is why it's like that. You know, the
Okay.
communication.
So that's
So
again,
yeah,
you're
I was
not a
like,
baby mama. You get what I'm saying? Like you're your daughter's mother. You're a child's mother. You're a mother. You're not a baby mama. You know what I'm saying? So you
yeah,
didn't take the tactics of you better pay me and you better do this and you none of that. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like as women, we got to get to that point where
right,
you can communicate effectively with the other parent to do
right,
what's in the best interest of the child. You know what I'm saying? Because when it turns ugly, the only person that really gets the bad end of it really is the child. So does he
exactly.
spend time with her?
Yeah, he's in her life. I would like him to do more. He does the bare minimum. Like he does what's within the court order for him to do. He sees her on the in our court order. We have literally the day, same day each month is his visitation day, same time, same location, because we didn't want any confusion. You know what I'm saying? Nobody can say, "Oh, I didn't know," or I was at this place, you weren't there. So everything is laid out, and he sees her when we've had moments where we did make changes to try and be flexible with each other, because it may happen where I can't meet him on a particular time, whatever. So we tried to be flexible, and he didn't show up. That's happened like maybe twice, but for the most part, he's where he's supposed to be. He does spend time with her once a month. She has visitation with him. He doesn't always pay on time, and even though I have within my right to put him on a withholding order, I haven't done that yet because I know he's going to pay, and I try to be
Right.
understanding. He has stuff going on. He has bills. He has, at this point, one older kid that he's on child support for, and one on the way that's going to be born next month. So he's got a lot of stuff going on. So yeah,
That's one
I
of
try.
the needs, to be understanding. And I think that's huge when you have kids with anybody, is to be understanding. Like, listen, I'm not here to be the animal or be a monster to you. Like, so many men, once they hear child support, it's like, oh my God. And the reality is, you
He's
got to
a
take care of your child,
monster.
whether, yeah, you got to take care of your kid, whether it's court ordered or not. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I definitely think that's wonderful that you all were able to come to this agreement. I am, so for me, child support is not a black and white situation. It's a lot of gray areas to it. Um, I didn't want to take my daughter's father for child support because he's a good dad and he does what he has to do. We've never had an issue where I needed something and it wasn't done or anything like that. So
Right.
for me, if it has to go to the courts, it's because we've exhausted every option to do what we have to do. Because other than that, I'm not
Right.
really sure. Like, and then I also feel like a judge shouldn't have to tell you how much money it takes to take care of your blood. Like, this is your child. Why would you not go to the end to make sure that your kid has? You know what I'm saying? Now
Right.
you do have the mothers who use child support as a controlling mechanism. I
Want to try and get back at
unfortunately,
him. Yeah.
yeah, and I've seen it. And like I think as women, we know what it is. Like, sis, you miserable. Sis, you upset. You mad he got a new girlfriend. You mad he moved on. You mad you see him on Instagram living his best life. And in your mind, you want a little bit more coin to live your best life when the child is taken care of. Your child doesn't have any wants. Now, I also think men have to be realistic with who you laying down with and who you going raw in, because you can't tell me that this woman is wrong for wanting child support or wanting a certain amount of money, and you knew the type of lifestyle she lived before the child came about. So now you want her to just dumb
Right.
everything down. I've had conversations with women who are like, $200 a month is enough money. No, it's not. If your child's in private school, extracurricular activities, if your child
Right.
is living beyond just watching TV and going to school every day, $200 is not cutting it. Plus rent, if you have a car to get your baby around, whatever it is, because some men feel like they shouldn't have to fund you, they only fund the child, which in a sense I understand, but putting a roof over the child's head is a part of living. Like,
That's exactly. Food in the
this has to
refrigerator,
come with
we both eat that food, you know what I'm
right.
saying? Like
So,
electricity, all that stuff, even gas in the car. Like I have to take her to daycare. Like it
right.
all is a contributing factor.
Right. So I think that's major. And then I also think that a lot of women, we know when we being malicious. Like, it is what it is. Like, let's call it what it is, because that's what we do on this show. You know what I'm saying? We know when we're being malicious. You know that you're only putting him on child support because you have an issue with something going on in his life, or you want him back, or maybe y'all are still sleeping together, because that happens a lot too. It'll turn into oh, you can only see your child when you come to my house, and that's the only time you're gonna see him. But every time your baby father shows up, you in some skimpy shorts or a skimpy little outfit answering the door, because now you want him back in the bed with you. And now you mad because you still sleeping with him. He's clearly sleeping with other people, and now you
Yeah.
feeling away because now your emotions is caught up, and then it turns into, now I'm taking you for child support, which is dead wrong,
That
like
is
dead
so,
wrong.
it's just immature. Like it's just immature. Like if that's
Yes,
how
and
you're
I'm
gonna play it,
glad.
do you want to be with him or not? Like, what are
Right,
you gonna do?
right. And I'm glad that you and him were able to take the high road and do what y'all had to do in the best interest of the child. So this fella is an example of the father put himself on child support. Okay, they came to an agreement for what was needed for the child in the best interest of the child, and they handled it like adults because that's how it can be done, and it can be handled like an adult. So now my next question is, when her birthday comes around, does he offer you extra money for a birthday party, or is it like, no, make the child support work?
Yeah, so like when I said before, he does bare minimum of what's exactly in that order and nothing above and beyond. So no, when birthdays come around, he's never come to any of her birthday parties. He's never contributed to any of her birthday parties. I've thrown them myself. I funded them myself. Um, no, no gifts or anything. I've invited him. I've always invited him, and I invited his family. This past year, when she turned 2, I've even invited his girlfriend, just because I wanted him to come. And he said he'll throw his own party for her. He's not coming. So, but also he lives in Virginia now, and I live in New York. So, you know, he said he's not traveling to New York. It's unnecessary. He's gonna do whatever he needs to do out there for her. You know, he'll figure it out. This year, however, her birthday coming up, I literally had to like but I've sent a group text message between him and his fiance, and I'm like, you know, I would like for us to do something together for her birthday, all of us together, including the fiance. She's gonna have her baby a little bit before her birthday, so she's probably not gonna be able to come. And so she told me that she doesn't feel comfortable with him and I doing stuff together without her, and that he'll probably only have time because of the new baby to just have a short lunch, a quick lunch with us, me and Olivia, for her birthday. But we
Wow.
can't do a full day of activities because they just probably won't have time based on the fact that they're having a new baby. So that's been a little messy. I'm like, how are you going to tell me I can only have a quick lunch with my child on my birthday, on her birthday?
Right.
Like, that sounds ridiculous. Like, nah, I'm not doing that. So eventually, him and I, without her, came to the conclusion that we're all going to do something together, like, you know, one of those little bouncy house places. We're
Yeah,
all
yeah.
going to do that for
Yeah,
her birthday.
she was out of line all the way. Like,
Yeah,
mm-mm.
like, she's
Yeah,
worried
it's
about the
certain
wrong
things
thing.
as a parent you just don't step on. Like, since you out of line, you out of pocket for that. Like, and it's like I said, it's a good thing that you're level headed, because there are some women who, if that would have been the response, immediately it would have turned into we going back to court. Like,
Yeah. And, like, I mean, that would be stupid because, you know, what is court going to do? We're talking about her birthday. That's nothing within
yeah,
all court really cares about is whether or not the child is in danger. That's it. And so all of this, I'm taking you to court, blah, blah, blah. Like, when women and men go back and forth, talking, even threatening each other to that level, is dumb. And sometimes they actually go, and it's a waste of money. And do you know how many people that the judge sees every day?
yeah,
Like, with crazy, like, I've been in a courtroom and I'm like, why am I here? Like, why am I here? I'm just here trying to get a visitation schedule, and these poor babies are out here. They have no place to go. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's just really sad. And so, at all times, try and just leave it out of the court. Just leave it out. Like, figure it out on your own, even though it's hard, but we adults, we got to figure it out. Like, we just got to figure it out.
I agree. Well, I thank you so much for chiming in today, and
Of course. Of
I
course.
love the
Anytime.
fact that you all took the high road and you were working it out, and there's some bumpy roads, but I know you, so I know there's no maliciousness behind it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you even invited the fiance to come. Like, listen, we a blended family now. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? In this story. So I really, really thank you for sharing your story
Of course.
today with us.
Anytime
So
you need to talk about any other messy city, let me know.
yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. So
Of course.
um yeah. So I'm gonna keep talking about some other issues that we have with child support, but I just wanted everybody to get an understanding that it's not always the worst of situations. Okay, they came to an agreement. It was they have court stipulations without actually going all the way through the courts. You know what I'm saying? They were able to work things out and they were able to talk with each other as mature adults, because child support doesn't always have to turn into the ugliest of the ugly situations. So,
and if I give one piece of advice, before you, even if you feel like you have to go down that road to go to court, go and speak to a mediator first. Like, that's always a good first step, because it's kind of like a third party. And if you can work it out there, you can skip that whole court thing. Like, and try and work it out with a mediator. Sometimes it's court ordered that you speak to them first, but that's an option too.
Did you have to pay for the mediator?
They give you options to go through their mediator, which you do have to pay for, but you can always find your own. And sometimes they have free services for mediators.
Okay, so somebody just commented and said, if you try to get food stamps and health insurance and stuff like that, which is true. So I used to work in insurance, and if you put your child on Medicaid or you need any type of assistance, there is a piece on the form that says, are you willing to cooperate with the child support department in an investigation for the parent? All you have to do is click yes. You really don't have to go any further than that. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you want to give a fake name, whatever the case is, you could do that. But they will deny you. Like, I remember when I had to get Medicaid, they denied me Medicaid because I wouldn't put their father on child support. And it was just...
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because like I said, he had the older daughter and her mom was on Section 8. And so the state actually took him to court, not her, took him to court and said, you need to basically pay us that money back. And they put him on child support.
Right. And that's how a lot of men end up in the rears. Like, it's not the state just maliciously saying you owe us all of this money. No, it's the fact of the child's mother needed assistance. You weren't around or whatever the case is, and they had to provide it and they want their money back. Because let's be for real, the state really ain't trying to give up nothing for free. So, you know, that happens as well. Now, with the percentages, every state is different. So if you're not in New York and you're watching this or you're listening, your percentages may be different. Here in New York, I believe it's 17 to 19. Some people said they're on it for 19%. If you go on nyc.gov, it says 17%. Oh, see, you get denied if you don't, I didn't know that. You can get denied the benefits if you don't follow through with the child support.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to pay child support or...
So, and unfortunately, the reality is...
It makes sense.
Yeah, but your way just seems a lot easier. If you can go through a mediator and you all can come to a common ground and both parents agree and stick to whatever it's supposed to be, why not let it be that? Like, a lot of times, and I've been on every end of this. I've been on, like I said, when I broke up with my daughter's father, it was like, the first thing out of his mouth was, if you take me for child support, just let me know. And I was really, really taken back by that. Because I'm not that person. However, my father paid child support for me. I lived with him, and he paid child support for me up until I had my daughter, my oldest daughter, and I was in college. So, and I never heard my father complain or anything. Once I got into college, my mother and I had a joint account. All the checks came in my name, and I knew how much money. The check came in both of our names. And my father was a police officer at the time. And I had really good money in college. I mean, aside from working, I had my child support check. So I was set. Like, I never ate ramen noodles. I was good. But I also never heard my father complain about the child support. So if he complained, he wasn't doing it out loud to me about paying for his child. You know what I'm saying? My parents were married. They got divorced. So the child support was actually court ordered. Like, and I was in private, me and my brothers were in private school all the way up until basically... for them, high school, me, junior high. And then, like I said, I lived with my father all through high school, and he still paid child support. So, you know, there's different strokes for different folks in every aspect of the spectrum, to where, like I said, my father was on it. I don't really want to put anybody on it because I'm over that. And then it just makes situations hard, like you said, you know. if you're in the res, there's so much you can't do. You can't travel. They make it hard for you to do everything. You can't buy a piece of property. Like,
Yeah, they can take it out your tax returns,
yeah,
everything.
and
Like,
they'll snatch it real quick. So I think that's a big thing. I think that the word child support has such a negative meaning behind it that men don't even really understand what child support really means. And some women don't either. But a lot of men, it's just like, it's a problem. Like, oh, child support, child support, child support. And it's like, but bro, you got to take care of your kid anyway. So either we're going to come to a mutual understanding and agreement, or you'll
right.
hear people talk about the extravagant amounts of child support that celebrities pay, but they can afford that.
That's the thing.
Like
It's
you
based
got to
off
stay
of
in your
their
lane.
income. Right.
Right.
Child
And you
support is
got to stay
always
in your
based
lane.
off of your income. And they take other things into account. When you fill out those forms and you put how much you pay in bills, how much you pay for rent, mortgage, whatever, they account for that. So when celebrities, like, you can ask for whatever you want to ask for through your lawyers, but it goes through a certain form, through a certain, like, whatever they account for within that state, because all states are different, but if whatever they get, if say a celebrity gets five, they got to pay 50,000 a month, that's based off his income, and that's what the judge thought was fair. Like,
Right.
that's it.
Right. And I did notice we mentioned earlier when you said that what you use child support for, because that's another argument. It's like child support should be used. Like, how you want to tell me how to use this money for a child? Like,
Right. And so, with me, I pay with the child support that I get, it only pays for 75% of our daughter's daycare. I still pay the other 25% of it, and that's it. Like, I can't buy food with it, I can't buy clothes with it, or anything else that she needs, because that's what it goes for. But I mean, I don't complain because I also is based off of both of our incomes. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So everything else, I would love for it to have more, but at the same time, I'm not complaining because I don't have enough to just pay the daycare on my own. Daycare is freaking expensive. Like, so it is what it is. And I've never like said I was gonna take him. Actually, he was paying for more. He paid for he was paying, I'll just full disclosure, he was paying $900 a month when we first went to court. And then that covered all of daycare, and I had like $100 to buy like diapers and stuff and then once I got a new job, I was getting paid a lot more, a significant boost in income, and I actually put the child support down to 600 a month because he needed it. I was in a new apartment, I was making more than him, so like I
Oh,
didn't need.
fellas, it's not always a bad situation, and not every woman out here is out here to get in your pockets. We not all out here to be malicious. Like I said, me myself, my girls, their dad, we have an agreement to. He helps me monthly as well. He triples what I make. And let's be for real here. If I took him for child support, I probably I have a certain lifestyle, but if I lived at home with my mother and I took him for child support, I wouldn't have to work. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because he makes really good money. So we're not all out here to get you. Like sometimes it's really just, yo, we need some assistance, and I thank God for my situation because he does go above and beyond. Like how you said, he just stops at whatever's court ordered. He gets the girls on the weekends. Any
Right.
extra that we need or he sees has to happen, it happens, whether it's clothes shopping, he has to help with birthday parties. But we also, as women, have to be realistic and watch what you say and how you say it to people. Now, if I come to you and say, listen, our child's birthday party, they want a birthday party, it's coming up, and we're like, okay, cool, we want to throw a party. What's the budget? I give you the budget and I say, what can you help with? That's a very different conversation than me telling you I need $500 from you, or I need you to give me this for this and that with an attitude. If I come to you and say, what can you help with? And I can come up with the rest. And then I'm thankful for I have a really, really good support system as well. You know what I'm saying? So birthday parties and stuff like that, grandparents is willing to help out, aunts and uncles is willing, because it's about the kids at the end of the day. So men have to really stop getting to the point where it's like, oh, it's a birthday party, it's a birthday, I'm not giving you nothing above the child support. Why not? You do special stuff for your
Right.
birthday. Birthdays are special.
Exactly.
That's an extension. So why would you not want to help out for a birthday party? I don't understand. Like, and then
It's for your
some of you
child.
men, right? And some of the men really act like you giving your little $400 a month, $600 a month. You Nobody's quitting a job off of that. Like, stop acting like your baby mother can be out here living a life of lavish and you throwing her shit. You be happy if you get 400. Some people only get 250 a month. Like, stop acting like
I
that
know
money is
a girl
getting
that
her that
has
house in
two
the hill
kids.
that she wanted.
Right. I know a girl that has two kids and she gets paid $65 a month in child support for both her kids. I said, girl, you might as well just take him off of child support because that's not going to do nothing for two
So
kids.
then that's
Like,
the
just
other
take him off.
thing. So that's the other reason why, for me, the child support, I'm just like, I can't be bothered. Now, like I said, their dad he pulls six figures a year. Okay. So his situation is different. Now, my oldest daughter, I didn't take her father for child support. Reason being, where am I going with $25 a month? You can keep that and the headache of me going back and forth to court with you. We're not doing that. Where am I going with $25 a month?
What is
You
it?
can keep
What's
that.
it going to do? That
That's
could
not
pay
even an
for
Uber
one
Eats
box of
order.
diapers,
Like,
small box.
$25 a month is not even an Uber Eats order. Like, where are we going with that? I'm just saying, like, what like some of us women are so malicious. You will really go to court for the $25 and think you holding it over somebody's head. You look crazy out here in these streets. Like, girl, let him keep that $25 and his Metro card and keep it moving. Like,
And the thing is, it don't like the way, so it has to go through a system when you do take out money like from child support. Like, it goes through whatever system they have to set it up. You're not like getting it by a specific time, like, you know what I mean? Like, so if you complain, oh, you're not paying your child support on time, it's still going to take a while to even go through that process, you know what I'm saying, of going through the courts, getting your actual money, getting the arrearages, whatever. That takes a long time. So if you're gonna say I'm gonna put you on child support, like, really need it and really mean it. You know what I'm saying? It's not an
so
immediate thing.
I have two really good child support stories. So one is from like a year or two ago. So I know somebody whose father was in arrears, and I mean he was in arrears for like 10 years. So he's in arrears for about 100,000 easy. Okay.
Oh
Her and her
boy.
mother go to the casino and they run into her father in the casino. Her father hits it big. He hits for like 40K in the casino. He can't cash the voucher because he's in the rears for child support. So now who you
Oh.
think he got to cash that child support? I mean, who you think he got to cash the winnings at the casino? He had to ask his daughter or his ex, which is her mother. So her mother
Mm-hmm.
cashed it, gave her 10,000 out of the 40. The mother took 10,000 out of the 40 and gave the father 20. You got to watch how your karma's going to play out in life sometimes.
Ooh.
You understand what I'm saying? So, and sometimes that's just how it happens. Now, I know somebody else, this is very recent. This actually just happened in May. So they had a situation like she has where the father pays a weekly amount. He
Right.
pays on time, no issues, no problem. The child is now will be 18, I think, like next week. He's going off to college, and
Okay.
the father does not want to continue making these payments while he's in college because he feels like the mother should take out a loan and and the son should get a job.
But
So,
he okay.
so
Like,
the
why does he have
mother
to take out a loan? Take out a loan. Okay.
he wants right because he's telling the mother like I'm not gonna continue paying you and our child is going into college and no like figure y'all gotta figure you and him gotta figure it out on your own. So the mother is going for child support and the child is 18.
Oh my god.
Why
Like,
make it hard
I,
on yourself?
but you know what? My cousin, she's 25 years old, and she was saying that her uncle, well, her dad, my uncle, he still pays child support. Like, the money comes directly to her. She's 25. Like,
Yeah,
so it's
I
you're
got
gonna have
child support. till I was in my
Really?
20s because I was still in college. And like I said, I had enough money from my child support from my father in college that if I wanted to jump and hop on a plane and take a vacation every other month, I could have. Because I didn't have any real responsibilities when it came to being in college. You know what I'm saying? My parents still, and my father and my mother still footed the bill. I didn't take out a loan for college at all. My mother and my father footed that together. My father's a homeowner. My mother's a homeowner. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I never heard him complain about it because he knew where the money was going. Like my mom just wasn't one of those, I'm out here just splurging and my kids look crazy and raggedy. So, and that's the other thing. Like men have to understand when you have a certain lifestyle, your kids have a certain lifestyle as well. You know,
Right.
when it comes to let's run the receipts for some of these extracurricular activities. It's not cheap. It is not cheap at all. Like summer
Right.
camp alone is $2,000 for the summer.
Right. And
So
summer camp is not even all summer. Like you're paying
nope. It's
you're paying us for a few sessions. It goes I think it's 2 weeks at a time.
it's 2 sessions. It's the early session, which is July into I think it's 4 weeks. So it's like the second week of July into the first week of August, and then the last session goes from August up until right before Labor Day. So that's it as well. But I just wanted, like I said, I wanted her to come on here so that people understood every situation is not the woman trying to get at you or get at you crazy and get in your pockets or whatever. She's not malicious. They broke up. It was a clean breakup, and that was the end of it. They weren't dipping and dabbling with each other, which a lot of people continuously do, like I stated earlier. And as women, we know when we being malicious. Sis, you know you wouldn't have taken that man for child support if he wouldn't have broke up with you. You know he wouldn't have taken you for child support. You wouldn't have taken him for child support if he didn't have that new girlfriend, if you didn't see him take that trip, if you wasn't on his Instagram or you didn't have one of your friends stalking his Instagram and he's out partying and having a good time and living his life. And just because it's a difference between an absent father and somebody who's not helping and somebody who is trying and somebody who
Right.
is trying their best. And it's not always about money. Yes, it takes money to raise kids. Don't get me wrong. But if he's throwing you money here and there, but he can pick the kid up from school. He's an active parent. He spends time. He's always there reading books, bedtime. He's one phone call away. Like, you got to take that into account. And I think child support is a conversation that needs to be had for me before you even jump into bed with somebody. Like, you shouldn't be waiting until you pull this condom off and now she's pregnant and now y'all going through it to talk about child support. Like, no, these conversations have to be had. Everybody at this point is old enough to have these conversations. If you're old enough to sleep with somebody, you're old enough to have this conversation. What are your views on child support? Like, stop raw dogging it because it feels good. And now you mad that you're sitting in this courtroom, honey. Like, I don't understand. And as women, we also got to understand, listen, you knew this man before you got pregnant. At least you should at this point, right? You should. You should know that whoever you letting into your body and letting raw dog you. You knew he ain't had no money when you got pregnant. So why you up in this courtroom talking about you want $2,000 a month? You knew that.
Well,
you knew he didn't take care of his first child, or you knew he wasn't paying child support for his first child. So why do you think yours is the exception to the rule? I don't understand. Like, some of us are putting ourselves in situations and then we want to blame everybody else. Or you have the female who, I'm gonna take you for child support because my aunt said so, or my mother told me I should. And you ain't doing nothing but hurting yourself because he was giving you way more money than that court order. He was coming around spending time. A lot of us got to learn how to separate our emotions from our parental responsibilities, and we can't. A lot of us, you'll cook dinner, and your baby father be over there, and now you like, oh, you want something to eat, and in your mind, y'all getting back together, and all he wanted was a plate of food. I don't understand. Like, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. Some of us are living in a fantasy. Like, honey, like I said, that $250 a month you getting, you're not living in that house on the hill. I don't know what you thought you was going to get, but let's be realistic here and know what kind of job your mate has too. If he making a job and he's pulling $32,000 a year, you're not funding your whole life off of that check.
You're not
Stop
getting
it. And stop using
anything.
it as a
Like,
control mechanism. Stop every time y'all get into an argument, it's like I'm taking you to court or I'm moving away or this is why I'm gonna go down and file them papers. Stop being that person. Stop being that chick. Stop being and then fellas, do what you gotta do. Like you know the situation. And 9 times out of 10, a lot of y'all know y'all baby mothers is crazy before y'all even raw dog shorty. Like y'all seen what she does. You seen the bullshit she
men
puts
like
other
that.
people through just for friends. Like, come on, some of
Right.
y'all, some of us know who we dealing with, and we want to rearrange the picture that somebody else already painted for us.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta start having those conversations with each other. That everything ain't always like, if the man is giving you a certain amount of money, and you know, let's say he's a street dude, so now you got
Right.
pregnant by a street dude, and he's giving you, let's say, $700-800 a month. But now you're gonna take him to court. What you really think you getting from that judge, and he don't got a job?
If it's not taxable income, it don't count. Like,
Right.
it does
So it's
not.
like you gotta take the good with the bad. So if he's giving you this money, take it. If he's doing that and he's at least coming to pick the kid up once a week and he's spending time and he's doing his duties as a father. Now whether or not it's up to your standards, we also gotta get realistic with the expectations we have of people. Everybody doesn't know how to be a father.
That's
Okay.
true.
A lot of people have
That's a,
never seen that. So you got to work with people, especially first time fathers. You got to work with them because they don't always know. Like we got to get to a point where we are understanding of what the other person is going through, what the other parent may be going through. This is not for the absentee fathers, though. I'm not excusing it. We are not here to say he shouldn't be doing his part. We're not saying that. We're talking about the man that's trying his best. And you know he's trying his best because you've been with him and you know what he's capable of. You know what he's not capable of. So you got
right.
to think about stuff like that too. And it may not happen in your exact timing, but if he's trying, at least give him that. He's putting forth an effort. You know what I'm saying? So
When you were reaching out for guests on the show, were there women that actually admitted that they put their child's father or whatever on child support for a spiteful reason?
no. So nobody
Okay.
would admit that. So instead of them admitting that, it would turn into a conversation of it's his obligation to take care of this child. You're absolutely right. He
Yeah.
should be taking care of the child. I cannot argue with you on that. But like I said, what is the reasoning? Like you said, you were sitting in that courtroom and you kept saying to yourself, what am I doing here? A lot of us don't have that conversations with ourselves of what am I doing putting this man on child support? You know what I'm saying? A lot of us don't have that conversation of am I really doing this because I really need the assistance from him and he's really not helping? Or am I just in my feelings and I'm hurt and I'm trying to prove a point here? You know, and then the other side of it is I'm encountering more of the younger girls, but this man told you from the jump he didn't want to have a baby, let alone have a baby with you.
Okay.
So now you either stop taking your birth control pill or you caught him cheating. So you kept the baby to prove to the other woman that you really was dealing with him.
Okay, no. If
And
anybody ever
now,
says that to you, they're dumb. I'm
no, when
sorry.
I
They're
tell
just
you, it's really no, it's sad. It's really sad. And there are some girls who are just like the guy misses one thing or one event or you know what I'm saying, or one payment to her that she's supposed to get, and then all of a sudden it's I'm going down to the court system. And it's like, hold up, why did he really miss it? And again, know who you having a baby with. Like, is this somebody who was responsible beforehand, or what did he display to you that made you say, damn, you would be a good father to my baby? A
see,
lot of
and
us are not having these realistic conversations with ourselves at all. I knew when it came time for me to have my daughter, I knew that her, their dad would help. I knew we were best friends before anything. Yo, we sit and we talking now like we friends because we are. We talk about all kinds of craziness and whatever. So you
right.
gotta have these realistic conversations with yourself. And as she said, if you find yourself in a place where you and this person cannot communicate, please get a mediator before you go to the court system.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm so sick. I am so sick. And I can only speak about my black men because that's who I hold near and dear to my heart. I am so sick of black men complaining about being put on child support because of a malicious, conniving woman who is mad that the relationship ended. Please find a mediator, find somebody that you can communicate for you all. There are apps that you can get. I know, I can't remember the name of the app. It's a court ordered app where the father
Yeah,
and
it's
mother
called
can
like
only speak to
family.
each other through the app.
It's called Family
It's
something. I
called what?
can't remember what.
Yeah.
Family
And it's
something.
an app that you all can speak. Right. You and whatever the thread is, nothing can be deleted from the thread. And this is the only way that you all are supposed to communicate with each other. Because sometimes it gets ugly, and that's reality, and we can't help that, right? But what I need people to do for the sake of this baby and these children, because children need both parents, and it doesn't need to be that this was such a bad breakup and now you on child support, and when your child has an event or a recital, mom is on one side of the auditorium and dad is on the other, and the child don't know who to say hi to first when they get off that stage. Okay, we got to stop putting these kids in these adult situations. Yes, it costs money to take care of your child, nobody's saying that it doesn't, but even with that being said, we all got to come to some type of common ground as parents to make sure. Speaking again on absentee fathers, we are speaking solely on parents co-parenting, making sure that the child has what they need. And I was also speaking on women who are just malicious. And sis, you knew what it was. You know why you taking him for child support, and you just mad. That's just the reality of it. So, with that being said, this conversation we're going to continue, but it's not going to be child support next week. Next week we're talking about exes and bitter exes, and why is your ex bitter, and sis, you know you bitter, and homie, you know you bitter, and we're going to point out the signs of a bitter ex. We're going to point out some of the roles